Hola, Tejeros. Welcome back to another Transfer Tango. And before we get started, I wanted to say that we've hit a milestone. So we've hit 15 subscribers and 500 views. And I am so appreciative of everyone who's liked, subscribed, shared, and giving me comments and feedbacks. I appreciate you guys. And we'll keep moving forward slowly but surely. So today's episode, it is finally transfer eve. All right, tomorrow is the beginning of the transfer window. It's not, but for Arsenal it is, because apparently we couldn't do business until July 1st. Tomorrow's July 1st, and hopefully we get some business done. So this video, I wanted to kind of go through the signings that are pretty much concrete, and some of the ones that we're still umming and ahhing about and hopefully will get done. So far we've been kind of concretely linked to 4 players. And surprise, surprise, not a single one of them is an attacker. It happens to be a goalkeeper, yay, a defender, another one, at least it's not a left back, and 2 defensive mids. And yep, still no attackers. But we're going to go through the first 4. So the first 4, we have at goalkeeper Kepa, we have Christian Mosquera at kind of the back line. He does play left center back. He plays right center back, and he can't play right back. I mean, he plays everything but left back, which is a surprise because we know that our manager likes left backs. And then 2 defensive mids, so Christian Ogard and Martin Zubimendi. Starting off with Kepa, he's not a, he's neither an overwhelming signing. $5 million for a backup keeper, solid business, I guess. I don't understand why we couldn't give Carl Hein a chance. He's had a solid season, but apparently, Mikel Arteta doesn't trust a youngster in that kind of area of the pitch, even though we got Neto and he was absolutely awful, and then you had guys like Alex Henderson, but who knows. So apparently Kepa's going to come in. I'm not excited. I'm not upset. It's $5 million. He'll probably only play Carabao Cup games and early rounds of the FA Cup, so it is what it is. Christian Mosquera, on the other hand, young center back. As I said, he played left center back, right center back, and right back. And I think he's going to be, either he's an understudy for Gabriel, or he's kind of covered for Saliba. And we know that with our right backs, Timber has had injuries. He's coming off of an injury. Tomiyasu, the ghost of Tomiyasu, he's been invisible. Ben White's coming off of injuries. So I can understand wanting to kind of get a player who can solidify that right back spot. He's another young guy. I think he's just turned 21 or 22. So, he's a guy that kind of like Kepa will probably get those Carabao Cup games. He'll get the early rounds of the FA Cup. He might get some, Champions League games if we get drawn against maybe one of the lesser teams, one of the teams we should beat, probably get some experience there. But, yeah, one for the future. As I said, I'm not underwhelmed or excited. He came from Valencia. So he should have some technical ability. From what I've seen, he's not that great in the air, but he's good, on the ground. So still young, 21. He could improve if he gets some coaching from, Gabriel. Gabriel, when he came in, he had kind of a bozo gene, and now he's one of, our solid center backs. He's our rock, pretty much. So, yeah, I mean, if he gets training from those guys, I think he'll be a decent player, a good player. And then, of course, CDM. My issue with our CDM is we've just gone like for like. We haven't really built on it. We haven't kind of improved it. I'd say we've gotten worse. So we had Jorginho and we had Thomas Partey, and we replaced him with Noah Gard, and apparently we replaced him with Zubimendi. Now, Zubimendi's a good player. He's not the Thomas Partey type player. He's not the Rodri type player, but he's a solid defensive mid. So, as I said, it's a decent signing. I'm neither underwhelmed or overwhelmed, but it's fine. Norgard, to me, in my mind, he's an El Nini. He's a guy that comes on, he won't lose the ball, he'll recycle it. He won't split any defenses, but he'll keep the ball in our possession. He's got leadership qualities. He's captain of Brentford. He's a little bit older, so he's a guy that can mentor the rest of the midfielders, but he's not a guy who's going to win us the Champions League or the league. He's just a guy that if we do have injuries, in those same games, those Carabao Cup games, he can mentor those guys and help them along. So that's the kind of signing I think. And we got him for cheap, so it's not. I'm not over the moon with it, but it's not bad business. And I think those signings are kind of your depth signings, even though we're losing, we're not really increasing our depth. We're just kind of replacing it with younger players. We're not really building our depth. So if we do get injuries, we're kind of in the same position we were last year. But defensively, that's what we're doing so far. And then when it comes to the attackers, it's linked with FC. We don't have any solid attackers, but we have some links, and I'm going to go over those links. So the big one that's coming out is the fact that Eberechi Eze, we're kind of speaking to him. Now, Eze was actually with Arsenal. He was cut from Arsenal, and he ended up with Crystal Palace. So he's an Arsenal fan. He's from Helland. He knows kind of the setup. And it would be big if we get him. Now, the big question that's going around is whether or not he will be left wing or whether he'll be back up to Martin Odegaard. And I think if we get him, he has to be someone who gives Martin Odegaard kind of some competition. And I think the biggest problem that Martin Odegaard has is he knows he's going to play every week. When Odegaard was out, our manager didn't play Nwaneri there, so I don't know why, but we kind of didn't have anyone to step in and be that creativity. And I think that Martin Odegaard as well needs to be someone who feels competition. So does Saka, to be honest. I think we need right wing cover, but I think that Eze will give more competition to Martin Odegaard than he will to Martinelli. I just think that Eze is kind of better in the middle of the pitch, and he gives a little bit more. And I think Odegaard needs that. Odegaard was that guy, at Real Madrid who wanted to come in and give those guys a run for their money. And now he needs someone to do that for him to kind of elevate us to the next level. And I think that's what we need. We need competition to elevate us to the next level. And I would take Eze because he's a silky baller. I mean, I think the guy, he scored for Crystal Palace in their first ever trophy, the FA Cup. So I would take him in a heartbeat, to be honest. And then with the striker department, I mean, it's the same two guys with the sprinkling of Ollie Watkins. And then we have a sighting of Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt. Another young guy, I think he's about 22, 23. And it's kind of what we're linked with. I know that our manager wants a young striker. Our board kind of want young players because, we've got this aging squad. And I think it's more about being able to sell them on, if things don't work out, being able to make a profit off of them. So, Ekitike, I can't say I know much about him because I haven't watched the Bundesliga, but, he's going to be a young striker. And I think Arsenal fans now kind of want someone to come in. And that's where the whole Gyökeres versus Sesko thing is happening. So you're having Sesko as that guy kind of like Ekitike who we think is going to become the next big thing. And you have Gyökeres where, he hasn't done it in the league, but, 50 goals, 50 goals. If he got down to 30 goals, that's still more than we've had since Aubameyang. So, we'll take that. Even 25 goals, 20 goals, I'll take it. So that's where we are with that. If Arsenal wanted to be if we wanted to go back into that thing, and this is what people are saying Berta's doing. So Berta it seems like he's playing the clubs against each other. So Gyökeres has basically told Sporting he doesn't want to play for them anymore. They told him that he could leave. Now they're playing hardball. And Leipzig are basically saying we have to sell this guy Sesko, and we need money, and we're gonna lower the price so you can get him. Now, if Arsenal were the big club we know them to be, why don't you just get both? Just get both. I want Arsenal to be the club they were when they wore this kit instead of the club that they are when they wore this one. I would take both. I want us to act like a big club. During those Henry days, you got Bergkamp, you got Henry. Like, you didn't think about these things. And now we're just kind of like, oh, you want Sesko? Do you want Gyökeres? Just get both. Get both. We need two strikers anyway. Jesus is going to be out for an extended period of time. Havertz is not a striker. And we gave away Eddie Nketiah. We gave away Balogun. We've given away all the strikers. We gave away Aubameyang. We don't have out-and-out strikers. Bring two in. They're different. So, Sesko's kind of that big, tall link-up guy, and Gyökeres is that target, that finisher. He's that finisher guy. He's the guy that you give the ball, he's going to put it in the back of the net. And I think if you're a big club, you're talking about being a big club, you just get both. You get both done, and then you go get us a left winger. It doesn't have. I don't. If you get both, you don't have to get a Rodrigo. I don't think we're gonna get Rodrigo anyway. I think you get someone who can kind of give Martinelli a run and call it a day. I'll be okay with that. But yeah, I don't know where we're going. It looks like it's gonna be Ollie Watkins, to be honest. Ollie Watkins is still hanging about. No one kind of is in for him. And I think if Sesko Gyökeres doesn't work, then it's going to be Ollie Watkins. And I'm going to be underwhelmed with that. But at this point, I'm just starting for number 9. I take him. It's not my first choice, but I would take Ollie Watkins. I just want some attackers in. And as far as the left wing, still Rodrigo. The papers are saying, we're thinking about it. He might be open. There have been some reports of Rafael Leao, Ademola Lookman. But, Rodrigo would be my first choice. But I think for me, if you got a striker who Martinelli could kind of ping those balls into, and when he does a little bit of tricks and he gets the ball into, just kind of same way with Saka, then I think you'd see a better Martinelli. I think that he needs a little bit of competition, but I don't think Martinelli's a bad guy. Apparently, Martinelli's been linked with a Saudi move as well. So, he might not even be at the club. So, we might just have Trossard and whoever else. Don't know, but that's who we've been linked with transfers. Tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow, I want to see at least one signing because they told us that we're waiting until the 1st to do business, and tomorrow's the 1st. I would love to see a signing. It's probably going to be Zubimendi or Kepa, if I had to guess, or maybe Nogard. It's not going to be an exciting signing, but it's going to be a signing. I just want to see us do business. If you guys have any other links you heard about, if you guys want me to talk about anyone else, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, put them down below. And as always, like and subscribe. See you guys next time on Transfer Tango.